Lesson 8. In this lesson, we are going to look at the verb to be in Latin. Our phrase is quies in celis, who art in heaven, and the phrase contains a form of the verb to be. Before we get on to esse, which is to be in Latin, we'll start with a review of what we've already looked at regarding verbs. So you already know that verbs can express either action or being. And so far, the verbs we've looked at have all been action verbs. That is, those that tell us what a person or thing does. For example, orare, to pray, and judicare, to judge. Now, there are other verbs that express what is known as being or state of being. And this is when we speak of what a thing is rather than what it is doing. The verb to be exists in English, of course. And here's the paradigm in the present tense in English. I am, thou art, he, she, or it is, we are, you are, they are. Now, in Latin, as I mentioned before, to be is esse. This means that the infinitive esse doesn't end in re like the other infinitives that you've come across so far. All the verbs that we've looked at so far have been what's called regular verbs. That means that they follow a recognizable pattern. But the verb to be is irregular in every in every language, including English and Latin. Despite this, you will be able to recognize some similarities between its forms and the forms you've already looked at. So here's the paradigm of esse, to be, in the present tense. Sum, I am, es, thou art, est, he or she or it is, sumus, we are, estis, you are, sunt, they are. Now, when it comes to word order, forms of the verb to be are less likely to come at the end of a sentence, particularly if the writer wants to emphasize the verb. And a very common place to find esse is right in the middle of a sentence. So we need to look at something called complements, which is something that's quite common. A complement is another word. It's usually a noun or an adjective, and it's a second word that provides more information about the subject noun. So, just as the subject takes the nominative case, so the complement takes the nominative case as well in Latin. So, in a sentence like this, you might like to think of the verb as an equals sign. And here's an example in English. Henry was a king. You could say that the word Henry equals the word king. King is a second noun that means the same thing as Henry, and they're separated by the verb was. Here's an example where the complement is an adjective. Henry was rotund. The word Henry, you could say, equals the word rotund, and they're separated by a form of the verb to be, was. The main thing I want to emphasize when talking about complements is that the second word, whether it's a noun or an adjective, is not mistaken for a direct object. It's not an object of the verb, but it's restating the subject noun in another form or to give us more information. So here it is an example in Latin of this same sort of sentence. Lacrimae sunt gratiae, which means tears are graces. So you can see in this sentence that graces acts as a complement to the subject noun tears, and the verb sunt acts like an equal sign. The verb sunt is the third person plural of esse, meaning they are. And our subject noun in Latin is in the nominative case, and it's a plural noun, so that is lacrimae. A complement also needs to be plural, and it also needs to be in the nominative case, so that is gratiae. Lacrimae sunt gratiae, tears are graces. Now, if anything's confusing there, don't forget, it's fine to stop the video, go back a little bit, and play it through a couple more times until you're clear about the points that I'm trying to make here. Here's another Latin example. Angela es dolorosa. The handmaid is sorrowful. Now, the complement is an adjective in this sentence, dolorosa, and it needs to agree in gender and number and case with the subject noun, doesn't it? So our verb est is the third person singular, meaning she is in this case. Our subject, Angela, nominative singular, and it's a feminine noun. Therefore, our adjective, which is the complement, also needs to be nominative, singular, and feminine. So you've learned that dolorosus is the Latin for sorrowful, and it has three forms depending on the gender that we need to use. Dolorosus is used with masculine nouns, dolorosa is used to modify feminine nouns, and dolorosum is used to modify neuter nouns. So we're going to use dolorosa. And our sentence is, Angela est dolorosa, the handmaid is sorrowful. For vocabulary, we are simply going to use the 6 words from the paradigm because they're so important that I think they need a little bit of extra emphasis. So, sum, I am, es, thou art, est, he or she or it is, sumus, we are, estis, you are, sunt, they are. For homework, check your text because there are a couple of exercises there for you. And I do hope that you'll download the supplementary exercises as well. And I also do hope that you'll be doing some written or oral drill from your drill table. Until next time, goodbye, God bless.